Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. Tonight we have episode 4 of season 2 of Fractured Empire, our once Fantasy Flight game, Star Wars game. Now it's Edge Studios?
Edge Studios?
That's the one. Welcome. In a moment my lovely players will go in and tell you who they are and who they're playing. But before we do, please don't forget to go and check out all our social media. Links are somewhere around here. If you're watching on Twitch, please don't forget to come over to YouTube and subscribe. And if you're watching this back on YouTube, head over to Twitch, give us a follow. Also, come and join us on our Discord. More and more people every day joining Gartopia, where the 4 Garblags dwell, and many more weird folk with lots of cool...
Amazing 80s moustaches today.
Absolutely.
Amazing 80s moustaches.
Absolutely. And also check out our Patreon. There's loads of cool stuff on there that's free, even if you don't want to sign up. And if you do want to sign up, then thank you very much, and support the channel. Help us get all the cool kit, equipment, and software, etc., that we have. Cool. We also figured out the other day, Millie, didn't we, that...
Yeah, we were doing some maths about... So right, there's two things going on, right? If you've got Bezo books, we like them, because everybody gets free Twitch Prime.
I'm not sure your mic's working properly, Millie.
Oh, no. Somebody else talk.
I'll talk. So if you have Bezo bucks and you are a Prime customer, then supporting us through Twitch is the best way for you, because it costs nothing and we get some money out of it, so that's awesome. However, if you're going to subscribe on Twitch, that will cost you $5. But you could come over to the Patreon and support us for $4. We get more of that $4 than we do of the $5. So it's a win-win for you and us. So if you are thinking about subbing on Twitch and you don't have Prime, stop. Go to the Patreon. Go over there and sign up on the $4 tier. You'll also get loads of cool free stuff. That's right, isn't it, Millie?
That's maths.
There you go. That's the cool, crisp northern lass that we all love.
It turns out I was shouting through Graham's microphone because we played Coriolis yesterday and it's just there.
That is true. Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Enough of the boring crap. Let's get on with the game. We're going to go around and tell us who you are and who you're playing. We'll start with our scoundrel.
Not sure if that's offensive or not. Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Kavan, the human smuggler. And I'm going to be pod racing, apparently.
Wookie.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I will be playing the Wookiee technician mechanic by the name of Nyruk.
Bodyguard.
Yeah, that's me. Hi everyone, I'm Dan, and I'm playing the Mandalorian hired gun bodyguard, Taslin Drennick.
Oh, which leaves me. Hello everyone, my name's Millie, and I'm playing Ellie405, who is a Politico droid.
That's right. And last time, our session led up to the start of the Phoebus Memorial Run. And you guys had an emergency call from Clem Lacuva, who you were looking for. So you thought, hang on, this is good. Let's go find her. And she was over at Vinka Rastine's residence on the edge of the city. And he is the governor, one of the governors of the planet, and he's the governor of Heverplex, which is the city you're in. And it's transpired that he's being manipulated, and his subordinate, Administrator Vrift, was murdered. You're still not sure who by, but you've got an idea. Because he was on the pay of the Imperials, the Eriadu Authority, and Vinka Rastine's being squeezed to try and get the planet to join the Authority, which obviously no one really wants. No one on the planet will want that, but the New Republic don't want it, and also your rebel buddies don't want it because they like this place to kind of hang out and go watch pod racing, and get support. So you got there and you found out that Clem Lacuva was going to be taking the place of Ruto Zapal, a mysterious masked pod racer who was joining who's appeared once or twice before in strange circumstances and won races, and is back again, and people are excited to see what Ruto Zapal will do this time. But there was a whole host of pod racers that were detailed, and you were watching their bio, those shots like on Match of the Day and stuff, and when the World Cup's on and they have them step forward, into a pose, and then their stats come up, their wins, their most deaths, and all that kind of stuff. So that was all going on. You found out about that, and she asked Kayvan to take her place, as he's such a good pilot, and to fly in the pod race, because you're aware that the Imperials are building something in the fourth section near the fourth section of this pod race, in an industrial area that's normally out of bounds for civilians, but this pod race flies through several electrocution pylons, which have like blink on and off, and you've got to get through without getting electrocuted. That bit will be fun. And there's some sort of base being built there. So you have got an advanced imager attached to the pod, and you've got to fly the race all the way around, survive to the end. You don't have to win the race, but if you do win the race, you get 1 million credits, because that's the prize fund. But importantly, at the same time, while that's going on, the rest of the party have to go and rescue Vinka Rastin from the governor's box, which I believe Taslin has headed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is very near that box, as you all see on the big screen Ruto Zapal kind of walk out, like looking around, like, where the hell am I? And someone a droid going, leading him over to his cool looking pod, which had 4, if you remember, it had 4 of the engines. Mm-hmm. So it's a quad engine pod. And you've been told to watch out for Krusk, the Trandoshan, and Ralrua, whose name always has an exclamation mark on the end, who is a Wookiee pod racer, who's just very excitable and likes to bash people, whereas Krusk is a battle pod racer. So you've been told to watch out for Krusk. So as Ruto Zapal was getting in the pod and all the engines were starting up and all the, people, there's music playing, Taslin, you're heading up there, and Ellie405 and Nyrik, you'd gone back to the ship,
mm-hmm.
and you'd gone to the Imperial shuttle.
Didn't we take I've forgotten her name already.
Clem.
We took Clem.
Yeah.
Clem was
Badly.
injured, so we took her back so she could get on a ship and go and escape.
Yes. And while you were there, you had heard some of the troopers coming back, right?
Yes.
So you then hid until we'd kind of left you there with the troopers
mm-hmm.
arriving, and you were at the starport near your ship. Clem had gone to her ship, right, to be healed up and.
I think Clem had took off.
Yeah,
they took off. Yeah.
If I remember rightly, Nyruk and Booley had sabotaged
Yes,
very well.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. You had tinkered around. Booley was going like this, playing around with it, and you've gone underneath and found Booley. If people don't know, that is the Rambo Ewok. I think that's the best 2-word summary for Booley. Carries a heavy repeating blaster over one shoulder. It's got a headband. It's got burnt fur, scars, battle-hardened Ewok, who's one of the top level warriors. And Booley was pottering around, messing about underneath the Imperial shuttle, and Nyrik had kind of gone over, and we had the kind of Wicket and Chewie scene where they'd gone, and all that kind of stuff. And then you found you made an amazing roll, didn't you? You like made some. I think this is your roll on the screen, right? Isn't it? Oh no, that was another one. But you'd made an amazing roll with like 7 successes or something, and you just like pulled out their hyperdrive motivator or something along those lines, right? Wasn't that the case? So it was going to have problems when taking off. So you guys have gone to then hide by your ship. Booley had gone off in his ship with the others. You guys had gone to your ship to kind of hide while the Imperials came in. And then I assumed you were going to head off to meet up with them, or were you going to wait at the starport?
You see, I know we should stay here in the ship. But what about if we comply with this and just move the ship? At the right time.
I really think our captain will be annoyed with us for trying to fly the ship without him.
I mean, how hard could it be? Like, everybody was saying it was hard to shoot blasters earlier, and I managed to shoot that person perfectly. Like, how hard can it be? Piloting planetary, I've seen some technical manuals.
Do
Maybe
either of you have piloting skills?
I mean, I've got two.
I mean, it can't be that hard. If Cave
Two green dice,
right? It's, you know.
two green between us.
As you're there you're in the cockpit, right? And you're looking around all the buttons, and like Nyric's going, I've seen him play with that one, and maybe 405's like, well, this one says, thrusters, landing gear. So you're kind of piecing it together, and you see the Ariada Authority guys come into the starport, and they have got a little grav car, little land speeder type thing, and there's two of them, and on the back of the land speeder you can see some sort of transmitter device, something it's not huge, but it's got a little dish on it, little antenna kind of thing, and it's got a kind of boxy control unit. And they get off, one of them walks over to the shuttle, and the other one kind of goes over, presses some buttons on it, picks it up out of the land speeder, and starts to walk over to the shuttle, which is out of view. So they kind of both go out of view into the next hangar.
Now,
section.
being the sort of law-abiding and well-behaved droid LE405 is, that happens to also own a comms jammer and a comms scrambler. Would that
Your
device...
comms jammer is somewhere else right now, isn't it?
No, we picked it up, didn't we?
Oh, yes. Sorry. You used it.
Because we put it in the pod,
Yeah.
and then we went back and we picked it up out the pod, because we put it in the pod racer outside of her house. His house. I don't know. The person's house.
The person's house.
The thing they've just carried past the cockpit, is that the sort of thing
It
that
looks
might...
similar, but not a dampener. Maybe a booster of some kind.
Oh, interesting. I will mention that. Like, Nyruk, do you think that they're perhaps trying to contact somebody further away? That in itself seems...
That was sick.
Sorry.
That was awesome.
I will nod and go...
Headphones warning for everyone, with Dan putting
Yes.
a Wookiee, by the way.
Yes, so I see your point. What? I
Dan,
don't
I
know
hope
whether...
you're typing the message to Millie secretly. That'd be amazing. Just leaving it for Millie to interpret. Either way, it's fun.
I see your point. And then I think perhaps it might be a bad idea to fly the ship. And maybe we should do, as other people have said, stay in our lane, which is a pod racing reference. You see what I mean? Because it's the Phoebus Memorial Run.
And as you say that, we're going to cut over to the track. And there's music blaring. There's lights pointing down. It's starting to get a little bit dark. They like to... Here on Malastair, they like to do the pod race when it's a bit darker, not in the middle of the day. It's not bloody Tatooine. And floodlights are starting to come on, and there's a huge crowd in the semicircular stadium end, and you can see the start and you can see the finish, and it's kind of heading straight out into this forest of huge trees. And you've been warned, Kavan, that there are giant kind of herbivores, but they're massive animals that like herd around within the trees, and they deliberately fly through their territory as it's a kind of challenge to avoid them. And everyone's in their pods, and the Trandoshan looks over you like, and the lights, the red signal lights are there, doom, 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 and then all the machines start to go, and you activate your pod racer, and and this thing is fast. You're like, fuck. It's like, whoa. I thought, because you're so close to the ground in space, it's easy to fly fast and not know how fast you're going until you're scooting past an asteroid. This is like you are constantly flying along the surface of an asteroid trying not to die. And you are like instantly terrified. And you're like shooting along. The 4 big engines sort of chained together in the middle, wobbling around a bit. And the first section, you're starting to, the first mile, you're getting a hang of it, right? And you're like, okay, right, I've got these 2 dual controls. And you shoot off, and the noise of the crowd is instantly gone. The sound of rushing wind, the engines, the thrum of this machine is just takes over. You've got like little minimal sensors, and you can kind of see the other pods around you, and everyone's kind of still in their starting positions. And to one side of you, there is Krusk the Trandoshan, and he's got this huge, brutish-looking pod, which the pod itself has got kind of extra lumps on the sides of it, and you're not sure what those might be. And on the other side of you, there is SP33D, the droid racer, who's got an elongated fin for a head and doesn't need a canopy, and is kind of sat inside this thing that's gone up around him, and his arms are inside, and the whole thing looks like an extension of his body. So it's all the same color. It's all this gold and silver kind of lines and things. So it looks really cool and really sleek. And it's got 2 small but powerful engines on the front, and they're all flying along this kind of open stretch as you head out towards these trees. And as you're hurtling towards them, you're like, those trees are big. It's like pod racing in Return of the Jedi when they're going on the little land speeders through the trees. Those land speeders are nothing. These are chucking it along. So you're hurtling through, and the way we're going to do the pod race is that each zone will have 2 elements to it, right? One is that you have to make a roll to stay on course, and if you fail that roll, then you will take strain, as you have to push your engines harder to keep up, and the machine itself is getting worked. There will also be a physical challenge, which might need a different roll, and if you fail that, you'll take damage. If you critically roll on either of those, you'll take 2 points. Your pod has 4 points of each. Okay, so you're chucking it along. Now you can focus on one of those 2 things, and the other one is a difficulty higher. And the good thing is your handling means that your piloting roll, you get 2 boost die because your handling is great. However, if you get 2 strain or more, your systems start to break down, and we might have to make sort of critical rolls on the pod. See, I've invented this mini game because I thought it would be weird to have like Roger execute a whole proper chase with 12 other vehicles and more represent it as a zonal challenge. And I may throw in some other things along the way, like people trying to kill you, So
just to make it fun.
So we'll see. So we're not going to make you roll just yet, Roger. But you're kind of shooting out. Is there anything you've got minimal sensors, so you can scan like 1 pod at a time if you want to, because it's so weak. It takes you a while to gather up the information, and you're moving around so much and it's erratic. So you can get like a free scan. Is there any? Shall I run down the list of pod racers for you?
Oh no, I'll do the Trandoshan.
Okay, you do the Trandoshan. Yeah. Okay, you can definitely tell. Here's the power conduits in here in your pod all flow forward, right? and there's hardly anything going on in the pod, really. It's just like a shell to keep you alive. And all the power goes to the engines. His has some power subroutines around the left side of his pod. And you think there's some kind of hatch on that side of the pod, which is the side you're on, the left-hand side of his pod. So you think there's probably some sort of concealed weapon. It can't be massive, right? Because his pods aren't big. So he hasn't got like a turbo laser or anything. He's probably got some modified blaster rifle or heavy blaster rifle, like mounted in like a pop-up thing that could shoot. That's all it looks like it could be. You know, might be a mine deployer, you're not sure. But that's what you can kind of gather from there. And as your pod shoots out of the arena, Taslin watches it go. There he goes. And you look up to the governor's box, and there are a few other people in there with him, moving around, and he seems to be standing there watching and talking to some sort of aide who then goes off. In the next box along, you see sliding up to the window a large mass, a hut, which you assume is Gleege the Vast, who you've heard the name recently. You haven't had too many tanglings with Gleege the Vast yourself, but you have had a...
Didn't he come up on the screen, though, didn't he, when they were going around doing all the famous people type thing?
Yeah, he did. And he was like, you know, like this. So the hut is there in the next box along, you can see. And there's look like a few, you know, the kind of people huts hang out with, right? They're kind of a couple of... There's a Gamorrean at the back. And a couple of other guys who look like rangy bounty hunter arsehole types. But the governor looks like he is not alone, but there's not like people standing next to him with a gun or anything. He's kind of clear. There's optics to keep up, right?
Is he sort of standing by the window?
Yeah, he's standing right at the window, and there's kind of the box juts out.
Yeah.
Right over the few rows below, and there's a side entrance. Yeah. So each of these boxes kind of sticks out. So the window is sealed, looking out, and you can see that, like on the window, there's some kind of holographics as well, probably giving details of the race or maybe a zoomed-in view, you know, kind of thing. Normally with these things, most people will sit down soon. Everyone's shouting and cheering and roaring, but most people will sit down because pods have all gone. So like floating screens will appear and entertainers will come around and keep them happy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Taslin will probably take her opportunity. So while everyone's sort of cheering and he's standing by the window with nobody really near him, she's going to kind of just walk into the room, just like she belongs there. Nobody's probably looking at her anyway because they're all cheering and whatnot. She's going to stand next to him, looking out the window and like sort of cheering as well, and then goes, "The Minox fly south for the winter." That was the code word?
Yeah,
I think it was pigeons you said, but pigeons didn't make sense in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But their droppings are always to the west.
I'm here to get you out.
What happened? Who? What? Would you care for a drink? Tries to make a sort of show of talking to you and going to a sideboard. As he steps over to get some booze, there's screens pretty much all the way around this room as well, and each of them is actually focused on a different pod, and then there's one which is like a summary and sort of moving between them, so you can kind of see Kavan's pod.
She looks at it and thinks for a second and goes, "I think I've actually got the easier job."
And so you move over to the side, and as you do, you look out the window and you see down in the stand, they're pretty easy to spot, a squad of Eriadu Authority troopers moving up in this direction.
So obviously she sort of takes a glass. Yeah, it's lovely, drink it. And then as she lifts it towards her face, she goes, "I can take the time to explain to you while I'm here, or we can leave now before something happens." And she drinks it and smiles, and
If everyone will see that I've gone, it will be.
We're gonna make our way outside, and then I have a change of clothes for you, so you look like everybody else.
Are you sure
Keep-
about? Are you sure about?
Keep smiling.
He's not used to spy talking. while
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah. Just make your excuses to go to the bathroom or something.
Okay. Yes. There's some people I have to catch up with anyway. Do the old shaky hand and rub the elbows and all that sort of stuff. So he goes over to his aide and says, "Oh yes, I've just got to go and talk to the under governor of the industrial region," and blah, blah, you know, makes up some stuff. And the aide sort of is like got various slates and stuff, and like doing, "Oh, there's a change to the itinerary," and he says, "Don't worry, I'll be back in 10 minutes. It's fine. I just need a little bit of time. There's a lot of people. It's quite loud. I'll be back in a minute." So he walks over to the exit with you, and he's kind of, where are we going?
So, like, first, like, before we step out, Taslin checks the hallway, just, you know, militarily quickly just pokes, not to draw attention.
Yeah, so you stick your head out. You look. It's a gap between this box and the next box, and the kind of stairs of the stadium go between them, right? Mm-hmm. So you could go up, further, higher up into the stadium, or down and out.
So she probably would have mapped sort of how she came up and a way out, and along that way, places to duck into, like bathrooms and things like that.
Sure.
So she's going to suggest we're going to make our way down. We're going to find a location so that you can get changed.
Okay. At this point, I want everyone to roll their force die. And our total for light side and dark side will
Sorry.
dictate
No.
dictate whether or not Taslin is lucky.
Oh no!
Oh dear. Okay, so cool. You've mapped a way out. You know, go here, a little loop round, not the most direct, obvious way, that kind of thing.
Avoiding sort of as many security sort of cameras and things and drones and
Exactly.
droids as possible.
Sure. And you start to make your way down the stairs. You cut through a side door, go through the back of the gift shop on one of the tiers on the interior. You know, obviously inside the tunnels of these stadiums, they have drink vendors and gift shops and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of make your way through, and they're kind of selling SP33D memorabilia, and they've even got Ruto's Apal action figures, and all kinds of stuff there. And they're really, you know, bigging it up. And there's screens showing the.
Is there like fanware, like hats and kind of things like that?
Yeah. There's like caps and hats.
Every now and
a lot of them are for grand, so they've got like fit on a head with three stalks and stuff.
As we go past, like, she'll just like chuck some credits at one of the traders and get a hat to put on the grand.
Okay, right, yeah. He's like, oh, puts it on. It's like, he's kind of wearing like senatorial garb. Yeah, so he looks pretty dapper, and now he's got like a baseball.
Yeah, I mean, the soonest point that we could have.
It says Ralrua on it.
Sort of the soonest point we could have been sort of semi-concealed for him, just to put on like a, because I brought some overcloaks and stuff from his place, didn't I? Just to sort of like, just so we could
checked his capes out. Didn't
you? Yeah. Well, I basically got the least senatorial looking stuff to make him look more like just a member of the crowd as we sort of venture our way out, rather than him sticking out like a sore thumb.
Okay, cool. So you do that. You wrap him up. And as you emerge, two things happen. One, at the end of down the corridor on your planned route, you see a trooper. And we're checking it out. Looking for him now. And you see on the big screen that K-Van's pod has gone into the giant trees, and we'll slide over to our pod race for a moment. As K-Van, you fly past the biggest sequoia you've ever seen. It's huge, like a skyscraper, and you're passing between these trees. Luckily, because they're so big, they're actually fairly spaced out, and from a distance it looked super dangerous, but as you got closer you realised these are quite big trees. They have to stand quite far apart, so it's probably not going to be that bad. But as you're kind of going through, and there's there's like a on your system. There's like a map to show you where you're going, but there's also like floating buoys, like lights to show you where you should be going. They're quite widespread, so you can kind of move around the trees anywhere you want to try, and people can try and overtake and that kind of thing. And they're all trying to kind of cut each other up. So let's have as you're going through this area, do you want to focus on driving or avoiding giant herbivores?
Oh well, that's not something I thought I'd ever have to choose between. Let's go with driving.
Okay, so you want to stay on course. So let's have a piloting planetary. You get 2 boost die because your pod's got handling 2. Yeah. So let's have a little roll from K-Van. Do you want to use a force point to?
What's the difficulty?
2.
No, I'm not going to use a force point.
Okay.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh. Okay. So you're getting to grips with this machine, right? And you're like, and it's like making weird noises as you're like figuring out how, the 4 things are like on leashes and on chains to each other. You're trying to figure out how to balance the thrust between the 4 of them, and they seem to be wrenching each other apart slightly. Your pod racer takes 1 strain. If you'd got a despair, it would have taken 2. Yeah. However, you have got 3 advantages. So what I will say is that 2 of those could go on a boost die in your avoiding the giant herbivores roll, if you want.
Well, I will spend my advantages to give 2 boost die to me, and then my 1 advantage to give a boost die to whoever does the next roll.
Cool.
So I'll get 2 boost die.
Excellent.
And I'll still fail.
Okay. So
what am I rolling for this one?
You are rolling coordination, because as you're piloting around the trees, right, you suddenly literally you come out from behind a tree and there's a herd of giant diplodo rhinoceroses that kind of pull around the trees, these huge hairy massive creatures with long necks, big heads and horns on them, and they're just munching on trees and running through the woods. And the other pod racers that have gone before you and around you have disturbed them, and they're now kind of like through the trees and running towards you.
And is this one difficulty 3?
Yes, it is. But you've got 2 boost die, right? Because of your advantages on that last roll.
Oh.
Success! Look at that. So,
Just.
what I'm also going to allow you to do on these rolls, right? And it's probably good that you use your advantages for that on this one. But you can use advantages to affect the other racers, right? So you can give them a, what's the word? Setback die. There you go. Where like you bump them in the way of the creatures, or you knock them off course or something. So you avoid these creatures. You swerve down between their legs, and they're kind of, and you're like, and Taslin, you see this on. That's what you're seeing on the screen, right? As the pod racer goes through their legs and out the other side, and like you hear a cheer from somewhere, and you see actually. Several of the pod racers getting whacked by these creatures, and one getting stepped on briefly as it like and takes off again, but it's severely damaged. Cool. So you're shooting along, Roger. You can now try and you can use your sensors to scan one of the other pods if you wanted to.
Which one's closest to me?
You've got SP33D, the racing droid. You've got Grenko, who's a Rodian, and Duayov, who's a Sullustan.
Let's go with the droid.
Go with the droid. Okay. The droid has a high power core. It seems to be maybe the droid itself has got some sort of power unit inside it that it's using to plug into the pod, and you can tell it's not using all of that power in its engines, and maybe it's got some kind of afterburner style booster type thing, something it might use to shoot faster. Cool. Okay, so you make your way through the trees, and that goes on for a while. So while the other people are doing stuff, but you're making your way through, and slowly, as you're making your way through, the trees start to thin out and get smaller and murkier, and there's a bit of like fog, and it's dark, but there's these floating lights that kind of light the scene, so you can kind of see this lit up track going through the swamp as it starts to turn into this boggy land around you, and you can hear explosive gas pockets erupting out of the swamp. As we cut back, I was going to cut back over to LE405 and Nyruk, but Nyruk's not around. LE405, what are you doing over at the shuttle?
I'm not sure. The plan was for us to just wait and be ready to go when.
Are you getting up the transmission of the race?
Yeah, we're definitely watching it. Yeah, it's definitely on a screen.
So you see K-Vans whoosh through the legs of a giant Diplodo rhinoceros.
But I think the plan was for us to get the ship ready because we want to be out on time.
Okay.
So I'm at least gonna be running pre-flight stuff that.
Okay.
I
you're
must
warming it up. We'll wait till
Yeah.
Dan gets back then, and then we can come back to you.
Sure.
Taslin, you're in the corridor. There's a trooper. Prediction. How will K-Van do? Oh, can I predict? Win 1 million credits, survive, explode. Explode. Come on. Gotta explode.
Yeah, I made a bet on him dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you did, didn't you? Yeah, you
in the
did.
last
It was
episode.
25-1, I think it was.
Brilliant. Yeah, it wasn't very bad odds.
No, I think I put 50 credits down on him to die.
Oh, look, here Dan's back. We'll stick around with them. Hey, Dan, you're back. Oh,
Oh, no.
no, he's not.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
he is.
just getting in the
Hello.
reference.
Cool. So we're going. We've K-Van's just done some good maneuvers, heading into the swamp, and we go back to LE405 and Nyruk, who are at the ship. LE405's got the race up on a screen and is doing pre-flight checks.
Mm-hmm.
Nyruk, you see on the ship's sensors that there is some sort of transmission coming from the shuttle, the Iriadu shuttle, and it's pointing towards the stadium, maybe the forest, maybe the swamp, maybe, you're not sure. What do you want to do, Wookie?
I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No
Fuck's
worries.
sake. Is there any way of hacking the communication, see what they're
I
talking
like
about?
it. I like it. Let's have a roll. It's going to be difficult though. So it's going to be difficulty 3.
Okay. Under computers?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best.
I do.
I'm gonna use a
Oh,
dark
no,
side point to upgrade one of your purple dice to a red dice.
Oh, hold on. We'll start again because I don't mind. Difficulty 3.
One less purple die,
okay, this is
one
gonna be
red
fun.
die.
It's 2 purple, 1 red, Dan.
2 purple, 1 red.
Hmm.
There you go. Roll.
Success, 3 successes. Wow, you are like a hacking star, aren't you? You're just like, yeah. I just touched
Yeah, I
the
think I
computer
picked the
and it
wrong,
gave me security
uh,
camera footage.
3.
Okay, so you've but a threat. Ooh. Okay, so you hack into their signal, but you're pretty sure they're aware of it.
Oh well.
The advanced telemetry.
I'll put it on the screen so the droid can see it as well.
Yeah. The transmitter seems to be sending advanced telemetry, topographical scans, environmental data in a tight beam communication, and you're only really able to hack into it because you're so close to someone on the racetrack.
They're cheating. So this is going to one of the pilots, right?
It's going to Roger.
Not K-Van.
Yeah.
Roger.
K-Van's paying off the Imperials. He'll win any way he can. Yes, someone on the track is getting some data, some information that, is clearly
I think
helping
we need
them.
to put an end to this.
But you think that they could tell there's a spike in your wavelengths or something that would show that you've kind of, hacked into their transmission. So you're
Maybe we should take off and accidentally knock off their comms dish as we're piloting away, just with the landing gear or something.
Or I could go out and complain that their signal is interrupting my Wookiee's broadcast feed. And if they don't come and fix it now, the Wookiee is going to destroy the ship and most of the shipyard, which I think is funnier.
Yeah.
But yours is probably more sensible.
No, we should totally do yours.
You sure?
You would have to fly out of your area and then dip into theirs and then fly out. So if you remember, they're kind of these little
the little
segments of a
little
Trivial
wedges.
Pursuit thing with a central hub.
I unless Dan prefers not to, I will engage righteous indignation mode and go out and shout at Ariado troopers for interrupting the Wookiee's feed.
And whilst she's doing that, I'm going to attempt to jam.
You could use her jammer if you want.
Yeah, I've got a jam. I'll leave that. There you go. I've got a comms
Oh
jammer.
yeah, I'll use the jammer.
Yeah, you just turn it on, don't you? And it makes it harder for them to
Brilliant.
communicate.
We'll do that.
Yep.
Put it
Okay.
under the couch or something, just so they don't notice.
So you put the jammer on, and LE405, you lower the ramp, and you start to head out
Yes.
to you'll get
towards them.
You get into that central area, and you look left, and you can see them. Well, you can see their shuttle.
Yeah.
And the ramp is down. And there seems to be some noise coming from there.
And I will shout, excuse me, I'm using polite words, but it's that Karen voice of,
Okay.
excuse me.
I want to see the manager.
A trooper helmet, remember they're kind of like light grey instead of white, but they look very much like stormtroopers, right?
Yeah.
And one of them, you see a head kind of lean out of the shuttle and look your way.
Where is your troop leader? I need to speak with someone who has authority and understanding before things go horribly wrong.
Move along, droid.
I would indeed move along, but my Wookiee companion might shortly move towards the nearest humanoid and cause grievous bodily harm upon people. He has a large investment in the Phoebus Memorial Run, and I'll gesture to whatever dish or something is on there. is around, and this appears to be blocking our signal, displaying some sort of telemetry and data. Now, this is unfortunate because we would like to watch the Phoebus Memorial run, and
Cool.
I need to speak with your troop leader before.
He points the exit, and he's like, head into town if you want to watch it.
I would indeed head into town. However, the Wookiee is not good around many people in this heightened state of frenzy.
What is LE405's intended outcome?
I want
You want him to
like,
come over to you?
I want them to come away and like a few of them to come towards us. And
There's
be
only
like,
two. There's only two of them.
All right, I want them both
Yeah.
to come out and start talking to me. So when
Okay. Well,
when
let's
Nyruk
have-
is like hacking and
let's have
shows
a
I can charm, I can deceive,
it's more of a deception, right? Because you're lying to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you get one success, one of them will come out. If you get 3 successes, both of them will come out.
Okay. Difficulty 2?
2. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got triumph.
Okay. Right.
Does that count?
That counts. That's something cool happens.
So I'll like move forward towards the dish and stuff, and be like, if you're not able to do it, I will obviously deactivate.
Step away.
And just be like waddling around and just
they give me a hand here. He sort of turns in here. Give me a hand. And then he kind of steps out and starts walking towards you.
Really, it's just a humanitarian mission that I'm on here to save everybody's lives before the Wookiee goes in, that kind of stuff.
Where's
going
this Wookiee?
on. Yeah, this kind of stuff.
They walk up to you into the middle of the central hub area. Nyruk, while that's going on, you've got the jammer on. Yeah, so the jammer's now jamming, and you can see LE405 going. And the troopers walk out towards her.
So I'm pretty confident the jammer's probably stopping, or at least disrupting this narrow beam towards the track.
It seems to be, yeah.
Okay.
Seems to be, yeah.
Well, I don't want to put the droid in the lurch, so I will start heading out myself. Because, why not escalate a situation with a Wookiee?
Okay. Right, so you head out. As they arrive, you come out of the kind of entranceway of your hangar.
Okay.
And
I'm going to shout.
And one of them turns around, like, startled with his gun. And he's like, step back, Wookiee. What's going on here? Why are you disturbing our Imperial business? Eriadu business.
Unfortunately, this system was blocking our relay to the Phoebus Memorial Run. We simply want to watch the spectacle of the fabulous pod racing here on this planet from the safety and comfort of our own ship. And unfortunately,
because one of you rolled a triumph, the guy's going to go, do you want me to take a look at it for you?
do we want him? No. At the is he suggesting he comes
To go on your ship. Like, it's suggesting there's something wrong with your
with
system,
our shift?
rather than obviously he doesn't want to turn his thing off. Yeah, so you've made a really good roll, and you've piqued this guy's humanity, what little shred there was left. And he's like, maybe I'll come and have a look for you.
And I'll look at Nyruk. Like, do you want the Eriadu trooper to come on board? Are you going to be able to shove him in a locker without the other one noticing?
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe my companion.
And the other guy's like, get it sorted and come back. I'll have a look at our system. Something's interfering with it.
What do I do with the other one? Shoot.
And he starts. One of them starts walking towards your ship, and the other one starts walking back to his ship.
I'm going to walk behind the one heading towards our chip.
Okay. He's like, oh yeah, you've got one of these old hunks of junk. No wonder your transmissions aren't working properly. You know, a long time ago, I used to work on ships like this.
As
You know,
soon
and
as
stuff.
he's out of sight of the other guard,
Okay.
of the other trooper, I whack him in the back of the head.
Okay.
With my blast knuckles.
Oh, that makes a noise, you know.
Does it? Oh.
But we'll make a roll to see if the guy hears.
But I don't
want to
hit. I don't want to. I don't want to kill him. I want to knock him out.
Well, we've got to see what you roll, mate.
Okay, fair play.
Doesn't it do stun damage?
I don't think it does actually. Hold on, I can go into it, can't I?
Okay. So Nyrik pulls back and swings, and we cut, and we go
I
to
think this has
Taslin.
come up once before. I
Yeah,
think
it did
you
last
can
time.
strike for strain rather than.
Yeah, you
wounds.
can do strain. And
No, cannot deal strain damage.
Oh, it's just a killing device. But
Unless you've got that.
Nyrik pulls the fist back and goes for the swing. Before it contacts, we cut to Taslin in the corridor inside the stadium, and there's a trooper sort of standing. There's people moving around. You know, it's not like deserted or anything. But the governor is suddenly, you can feel him tense as you're, you know, the person you're guarding is often like, and you have to move them around like a dummy sometimes. There's troopers at the other end and kind of looking around. You know,
Is it just the one trooper?
it's one trooper.
Is there a crowd moving around at all?
Not crap. Most of them are like out in the thing. This is kind of the people who've popped out to get a drink or go to the loo or I will buy that hat. Yeah, it looks cool. You know, kind of thing. Not a huge crowd. Some people moving around.
So, is there enough to sort of generate some interest by giving them some money to create a sort of crowd to move out past this guard? I'm basically going to try and disguise him within a group.
So we're going to pay people.
Pay people money.
And say, hey, come with us. What are you going to say to them?
Free drinks on us. They're down here, guys.
Okay, right. Let's have a roll, charm roll. And free drinks on us at a sports stadium, 2 boost die.
Oh God, this is like one of my worst stats.
There are.
Oh my God!
And like suddenly, like people, one guy shuts his shop and comes over. He's like, no one's buying any of his stuff. It all looks like it's handmade for Ithorian bodies, and he's like, and he kind of comes over, and like a group of people come over, and they're like, oh yeah, drinks, yeah, there's the bars just along here.
Yeah.
And you start to make your way past the trooper, right? What we're going to do is you're going to make a stealth roll. No,
I'm going to give him a setback die for spotting us.
Oh, okay.
My 3 advantages.
Cool. Right, so he's going to make a roll then. You succeeded with an extra success. So that means his difficulty is going to be 3, and you're giving him a setback die.
That is
right?
correct.
So, oh God, he's not got very good setback die. I'm going to use a dark side point.
I'm going to flip it back and use a light side point to give him a red as well.
Oh, man. Wow. I've got like a whole set of stuff. Right, there we go. This is interesting.
We've
Right.
got to get him out and not get shot.
Here we go. I said difficulty 3, didn't I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, missed one of those. Here we go.
Oh my God!
Okay, so you're moving this crowd through. You will have humanoid shields, however. So you're moving this crowd through, and even though you did a really good roll, you had all those setbacks, but unfortunately, he turns and he looks across, and everyone's going yeah, and you're going drinks, and he looks at you, and suddenly you give him the dead stare. He looks at you and clocks you, and then you give him the dead stare, and he turns and pulls his gun up. But I'm going to say you can go first because you're prepared. He's just spotted you, and you're watching him. And I assume you've got a weapon ready.
Of course.
Yeah.
Taslin's one arm has been sort of inside her jacket, ready to pull out her blaster carbine.
Okay.
At a moment's notice.
So let's go for. You're gonna shoot him.
Yep.
It's all about to kick off.
I'm going to use the stun, so just in case. I don't want it. I don't want to. I want the pew noise rather than the.
He's
noise.
a minion.
Yeah. So that's so that does loads of damage because my gun is. Oh, I didn't fire it from my gun, did I? That's why it's not showing damage. Damage 12 on his strain. Plus an extra success.
He doesn't have strain. He's got 5 soak, and he's got 5 wounds.
Okay.
So, like, between two people who are going, hey, drinks, yeah, your gun, like, raises up and blasts him against the wall.
And can I use the 4 advantages to basically almost make it like a stealth shot so the crowd don't see it? So it comes up, goes between 2 guys, and the gun goes back in before.
He falls through a display unit, and all of the clothes on this display unit fall on top of him. And a guy turns around, and he's like, huh? And all you can see, and he doesn't see it, is Ariadu Trooper boots sticking out at the bottom of the pile of clothes. And yeah, you're like, blast him, and he collapses down.
And then I get to the bar and buy everybody a drink. I don't know how many credits that's going to
go. So you're going to chuck like 100 credits on
chuck 100 credits on the
Cool.
Take that off my total.
It's the Phoebus Memorial Run. They charge a bit more at this event.
But I promised these guys drinks. Didn't want them to get angry and stuff like that.
You're awesome. Oh man, yeah. Who you put your money on? One of them's like, Ruto Zapal's going to do it. Look.
I've got him to die. 25-1.
Oh man, you're making death bets. Whoa, bad form. Another one's going, no, I put money on him to die as well.
And then obviously while everyone starts like drinking and getting like merry and sneak away with the governor.
So you kind of make your way down another level, through another corridor, out towards like a back exit. You know, you don't want to get through the crowd,
avoiding securities and things like that. You know.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not like completely possible to avoid security because it's a big stadium. But you know, at certain points you just walk along like 2 people walking, and no one's the wiser. You might
hopefully the governor's relaxing a little bit as we're sort of moving our way through now.
Yeah, he says, "Where did that trooper go?"
No idea. Must have got called off somewhere.
One moment. Cheers. So you kind of make your way to one of the exits, and you've got to the edge of the stadium, and you go outside, and you can see. Remember, there were those large park areas where people were sitting, and there's massive screens. And you start to make your way across. Now he's outside. He's getting that moment of panicked freedom that you often see these people have, where they start to run when they shouldn't. Like, I can see the way out. I'm going to run. So you like rein him in a bit, and he kind of starts. He's like, oh.
Taslin is a bodyguard by trade, so she's going to sort of keep him under control.
I'm not going to make you roll for knowing shit like that because that's like your career, right? So you kind of grab him and rein him in a bit, and you kind of. Every now and then you kind of stop for a moment to just look like people looking up at the screen and that kind of stuff. Did you have a vehicle nearby?
No, because we came in on that speeder, but Roger took that inside the stadium. So the truck got taken back. So it's kind of true. So we're gonna find our way to I guess there's probably gonna be some taxis sitting at the edge of the boundary, ready for the end of the match and stuff like that.
There's a whole line of them, and they all seem to be sitting around like smoking death sticks or eating little lizards on sticks, with their Gungan tongues and things like that. There's taxis around, so you kind of run up and jump in a speeder. And as you get in, the guy turns around and he goes, "Man, the run's awesome this year. Look," and he points over at a giant screen. There's a big explosion of marsh gas. And through it comes Kavan, or we should say Ruto Zapal, in in the speeder. Roger, you've shot through the forest and you're now in the swamp. And around you, there's like explosions going off. There's still trees and there's kind of vine things that occasionally kind of flap against your pod racer, but they very quickly like either just get burnt to cinders or just lash off the other end. It's a lot of moisture, so you're starting to get a bit sort of hotter and clammier in your pod, but you're starting now to get the hang of it. In this environment, the explosive gas presents the physical challenge for K-Van in the pod racer. This is the biggest pod race on Malastare, right? It's got to be death-defying. It can't just be simple. So you have a choice to focus on staying on course or avoiding the explosive gas pockets.
So from the sound
Which
of the
one you focus
physical
on?
thing,
Yeah.
it's going to be brawn, I'm guessing, of some kind.
Well, it's probably going to be like an I'd probably say it's going to be like a athletics or coordination, up to you, as you're not so much piloting as reacting to explosive things.
I'm going to focus on piloting again then,
Okay.
given it didn't go well last time.
Well, that's true. That's true. And you do want to make it through, right, to the other end.
Ideally.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, my wife just bought me a drink and I was texting her. Thank you. So you heading through, these pockets seem to be random, right? But you're going to focus on staying on the course. So let's have your piloting roll first. So this is difficulty 2, and you've got 2 boost die because of your handling on your pod racer.
Okay.
Do you want to use
I'm going to... Yes.
Go on then.
In a desperate effort to survive, so... Oh, it didn't adjust the things.
You didn't click on it.
That's okay.
Don't use it.
it.
You don't need to do it.
Oh, wait.
Ah,
Ah.
I'll do it. Don't touch it. It's 3-all.
Oof.
Okay, so you succeeded. Right. So you succeeded. Now, with your extra success, you can pick one of the other pod racers that you will put off course, and they will take strain on their... Like, so you're flying along and you like dip in front of them or something, or not, however you want to do it. Feel free to describe it. But you kind of put them off course and they have to wrestle their pod racer back on course.
Okay, can I get on the right-hand side of the Trandoshan and knock them?
Yes, you can.
Because
Good.
I know their weapon points left.
Good idea. Okay, so they take a point of strain as you knock them. He's looking at you out of his... But he's like... like this, and you're like... and he like... Whoa, goes off on a big veer, and an explosion goes off. He has to go round it the other way, and then you can see him like physically pulling on his controls, and his engines turn and get back on course. The Lupercal is, but focus on the credits, K-Van.
He gets it.
Yeah, absolutely. And with your advantages, you can give yourself a boost die on your next roll if you want to.
Yeah, I can spend one to give myself a boost die, and then I've no idea what I can do with the other one.
You can give someone else a setback die, can't you?
Okay, I will give the Trandoshan another setback die.
Okay. If he tries,
You need to use 2 to give a setback die.
Oh, is it 2? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, then no, I'll just give myself
No
a boost
worries.
die.
Okay, so you're keeping on course throughout the whole zone, but there are random explosions going off. So we need to have a athletics or coordination as you're kind of reacting fully to this.
All right, coordination it is.
Okay. Success. Excellent. 2 threat. Ooh. Okay. So you can have a setback die on your next roll. You made your way through an explosion. It didn't fully damage you, but it's put off your stabilizer slightly. So you can have a setback die on your next piloting roll.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So you fly through this, and that's what Taslin and the governor see on the screen, and you're kind of heading through, and you can see that it's starting to the Duros explodes in a ball of fire. The explosive danger here seems to be pretty real, and you seem to be one of the few people that has emerged unscathed. And Krusk, where's Krusk? Krusk has to make a coordination roll to avoid the explosions. I thought I'd just make a roll for this one, but you gave him a setback die, right? So that's difficult, and add to the difficulty. Does anyone want to use a light side point to make it harder for me? No? Okay. Success. Krusk made it through the explosions, and now he's like, and he even like shakes his fist like this.
Does he get a setback die from the 2 threats?
He does. Let's write that down. Setback die. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So the flames licked around the edges of his ship and kind of burnt some of his sensors, maybe, or his alignment on his engines. So things are slightly off for him as you gun through this swamp. The swamp's disgusting as well. It stinks. There's bubbling. It's popping around. You see kind of slimy amphibious creatures slurping in and out of the water. The big dangly vines and things kind of giving you this kind of disgusting it's a bit like Dagobah, right? It feels a little sort of getting towards that, but as you're coming out the other side, you're starting to feel like they somehow closely control this environment in this area, because you're passing through these sections in quite close succession, and the land, you can see the land around on either side, and this course has kind of gone out, and you're now curving round to the left. The land around at the sides is starting to rise up, and there's kind of a river, and the water's flowing away, and it starts to flow down into a canyon system, and you're flying along through the canyons of this area, and it's kind of like branching canyons that seem to strangely be formed that would be really good for a pod race, and you're kind of going between all these kind of arches and stacks and stands and all that kind of stuff, and you're flying along between them, and here we have 2 rolls again, Roger. So one for staying on course, which you've got a setback die on, and the other for falling boulders. Yeah, there's crumbling parts of the ravine walls as you're flying through, and they're dropping down. However, the base difficulty, I'm afraid, has gone up to 3, because this ravine is very difficult to fly through, and the boulders are very big. So as you're flying through, and you're like, oh my god, you're like, just got the hang of this. I went through the big trees, then all the vines. Now these are big solid rock walls, and you're like through these areas. There's lights, they're embedded lights in it. It's actually really cool, but deathly as well. So you're like shooting along, and behind you hear another explosion, as someone just flies into a wall. And back in the stadium there's a ooh, like around the planet people are like ooh, wince, and several death bets come in, and lots of people are disappointed that that Chad Forter did not make it across the finish line. So they seem to be falling, so it's difficulty 3 this time, base, Which do you want to focus on? Piloting or evading boulders?
Hold on. So if I focus, do I reduce it by 1 or
No,
do I up it
the other
by
one
1
gets
on the other
worse.
one? Let's focus on piloting.
I'm not that nice, Roger. So how is your pod racer at the moment? What's
It's taken 1 strain.
Oh, well, okay. Well, nothing to worry about then. What are we going on about? Okay, I'm going to use a dark side point to make your piloting roll.
I'm
harder.
gonna flip a 1 to make it easier.
Okay, go on then. Okay. So you get an extra yellow die, but you also get a red die. It's difficulty 3, and you got a setback die. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a red, 2 purple, a setback, and your stuff. Here we go.
Does he still get his 2 boosts from handling as well?
Yes. Yep. So I think he's going to roll all the dice.
Nice.
Success. Nice. Awesome. Okay.
I'm going to hit the Trandoshan again.
You're going to hit the Trandoshan again. Okay. Right. Oh, hello.
Again, on the right side, give him another strain.
Okay. Takes another point of strain. His ship, you can see now little crackly bits of energy and stuff going along the sides. What we need to do is roll a critical roll on his...
Is that a D100?
Yeah, hang on, let me find the page first. Right, here we go. Oh yeah, I put a marker in there. That was clever. For once. Here we go.
Oh, apparently I can't roll a D100 on this.
Really?
Nope. I just tried. It said no.
Oh, yeah, when you click it, it gives you...
Unresolved string term D100 requested for evaluation.
Roll 1d100.
Oh, that's bad. A minor inconvenience.
Mechanical strain. The ship or vehicle suffers 1 point of strain.
Ooh, nice.
He's now taken 3 strain. Okay. I'm now going to make his piloting roll. Now that you've gone after him twice, he's going to try and position himself against you as well. So, where are we?
He had a setback, didn't he, from these threats last time
He
as well,
does.
didn't
I'm
he?
just trying to find his character sheet.
And doesn't he get one from my success?
No, you took a point. He took a point of strain from your success, didn't he? Not a setback die. Planetary. Here we go. Hang on. Right. Right. So I've got difficulty 3 base. I'm going to use a dark side point to up my yellow dice.
Yeah, we'll do it the same. You can have a red.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And then what other dice is there?
Setback.
Did he have? Is there a setback?
Yeah, he took
a point
two.
Oh, setback. Yeah,
he
I've got
had
it
2
noted
threat.
there. Right. Yep. I'll rub that out now. Here we go. Right. Setback die. Here we go. Oh, he failed. Oh man. Don't want to fail your piloting roll as well. He took a point.
He got a
of strain.
triumph, though.
I got a triumph. So he hits you, Roger. And in hitting you, he really screws his own pod racer up, right? So he hits you, you go and bash into a wall. You take a point of hull and a point of strain. One of each. Yep.
Bloody hell.
So you have to wrench your pod racer around and control it, taking a point of strain, but you also bash into a ravine wall, taking a point of hull. He slides across the ravine floor. Poodle! And his ship goes to 0 speed. So he's got no strain left, and his ship is going. As far as you're concerned, he's probably out of the race now. Right. Cool. Okay. Boulders. Here we go. So now, this is coordination, because you are literally just like reacting Not even like piloting is like if you've got like yeah that's cool, but like a boulder's about to fall on your head, you're like shit. So let's have a difficulty 4 coordination roll.
Okay.
Oh, I just flipped a dark side point. Sorry about that.
I'm doing it the exact other way round.
Okay, there you go.
Oh my god. Oh my.
You got a triumph. Okay, so that's cool. You failed, however. So you got hit by a
Rolling has
boulder.
been awful.
So take a hull point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, if you take any more strain, we have to roll a critical on your systems. Okay. Some of them are rubbish, as you heard. Some of them are not, bad. So you take a point on the hull. However, I'm going to say that you are able to drag 2 other people into your boulder collapse through your triumph. So they're following you so closely and trying to overtake you. SP33D and Aston Arcourt, the human with funky, long flowing hair that I'm very jealous of, they both get hit by boulders because of your action. Yeah, you get hit, but also they're following you so closely that they take points of damage. And Aston Arcourt's ship looks pretty battered. Excuse me. Okay, cool. Right, so you kind of make your way through the ravines, and it's kind of like flattening out a bit now. The bottom is rising up, and you can see ahead the kind of crackling energy of the industrial zone that you're heading towards. And this is on the screen as in the cockpit. We're kind of, the camera is in the cockpit, looking out of your ship, the Wayfarer, panning up from the screen to see a Wookiee standing behind an authority trooper outside, and he's going. So let's have a blast glove. What are they called? Blast knuckles.
Blast knuckles.
Blast knuckles.
Is it? It's like an energy thing, right? It's like.
Yeah, smack.
Yeah, I think they're the things that Chris Stanton uses in Book of Boba Fett.
I've blocked most of that out of my memory. That's
It had some good bits in it.
yeah, it did. Yeah, the Mandalorian
From
stuff.
The Mandalorian. Is it worth?
Do it.
We out of light side points.
Do it. You got 3.
3, yeah, go for it.
Sorry, remind me how I flip.
Just
Oh, it's
click on
light.
it.
Click on the 3.
Click on the 3. Click on the light. 3.
I'll do it for you if you want.
Yes, please.
There you go. Right, and then you upgrade one of your green dice to a yellow dice. Or if they're all yellow, it goes up. You get an extra green dice.
So yeah, they're all.
If they're all yellow, because
Yeah,
you're a fist fighting extraordinaire, just add a green die.
got you.
It's going to be horrible, isn't it? Okay, 3 successes, 1 advantage. Cool. Okay, so
In the back of the head.
that's adds the successes add 2 to your damage. So how
Okay.
much damage do you do?
Just 7.
7 damage. Is it 5? So sorry, it does 7 basic.
Just 7 basic. So 7, 8.
9. Okay, so you do 9 damage to him. Let me see. Oh, okay. So you punch him, and he stumbles forwards, like kind of screaming in pain, and turns around with his gun. With your advantage, you can. Is it the next person to have a boost die? Next friendly person to have a boost die, not the other trooper.
Not the trooper.
Well, I think that'd be Millie.
Millie, do you want to do something? This guy is surprised. Do you want to do something before he acts?
Will I be able to get?
Yeah, I thought you were still outside.
I
with
thought
the
I
other
was still outside and they're inside the Wayfarer.
No, he's just got... You got out of sight into your docking zone, right?
one. Oh, cool.
Or were you in the ship? It's fine if you're in the ship.
I pictured us in the ship.
Okay, that's fine.
No.
You're in the ship. It's up to
Okay.
you. It's your action. So they're in the ship when that happens, right? Punch. Yep. Okay, LE405, you're outside with the other guy. He's walking
All right.
back to his shell. I
Um.
want to see if he hears that actually.
So all right. So this is the thing. The ship died and there was the planet-wide whoa thing. Oh, okay, that's cool. I was like,
He
I was
just
gonna
keeps
say
walking.
I'll try and hide it in the pod racer dying.
Doing a solo Mexican wave.
Like, oh no. All right, he doesn't hear it. I don't think. I'll follow him.
Okay.
Continually wittering at him about
Yeah, he's just like a lot of people do. He's ignoring you.
Yeah, but noise
Oh.
protocols, communication
He-
protocols breaching.
He actually says to you, droid, do you have any experience with electronics?
I have I say yes, of course. It is part of my core
Run a
programming.
diagnostic on this for me.
And I will go over and just press buttons. I've
Okay,
got, like,
it's a signal booster that's transmitting. It's like plugged into the side of the shuttle,
okay.
and this little dish is kind of like this, and it's trying to transmit, but something seems to be blocking it.
Okay. Yeah, I will push buttons and then I will say, do you know, we saw a small Ewok over here earlier this evening.
He looks up at you. Where?
I wonder if
It's like suddenly like on his tips of his toes, and he gets his gun out. Where? Where?
I wonder if that his malevolence has caused
not kidding
malfunctions
me.
here.
You're not playing with me, are you? Do you have
LE
perception
droids
subroutines?
are renowned for their honesty, Trooper. In fact, it is part of why many of us were recalled. Unfortunately, my line is too honest. Of course, we saw a small Ewok.
He starts
around
looking
here.
around like under the ship and like trying to see if he's like, God damn Ewoks.
While he's doing that, can I see who they're broadcasting to? Like, can I see who the target is?
The recipient is SP33D.
Oh, it's for the droid.
Mm.
Interesting. And I will.
Who was sponsored by
Probably.
Bleach the Fast.
Oh, okay. Understandable. I will. I will just like bolster his suspicion and be like, I'm pretty sure he was inside the ship. Like I saw him wiggling through one of the things, and be like, but when we saw him, we chased him off, that kind of stuff, and just like making him more
Okay.
paranoid.
Wait here. I'm gonna go check the interior.
Okay.
So like opens the ramp and it comes down. He's like doesn't think you're a threat at all because you're a droid and it's
No,
just
I'm not
like
a
you're
threat.
doing your service for humanoids. So he just opens a ramp and the shuttle is there open. He kind of walks in and he starts rooting around and looking around, and you can see it's a fairly simple shuttle. You know, it's got a cockpit, it's got a back area with some storage cabinets and things, some seats, flap down ones with kind of harnesses that you can kind of strap yourself into, that kind of thing. No,
Is there any way I can like lock him in a bathroom or switch on a
There's not really a bathroom, but you
to-
could
but-
shut the door and lock him in the shuttle.
But
Because
then
you
he'd be
remember
able
what's
to
going to happen if they take off.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'll try and when he goes in, I will try and lock him in the shuttle.
Okay, so he goes in and he starts looking around, and you press the button to shut the door, and it goes again. What are you doing, droid?
I
he's like,
thought I'd press the button to run the diagnostics. I'm sorry, is it not connected
Okay.
to the ship?
Computer roll.
Oh God. Difficulty 2.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a computer roll or a light blaster roll. It's up to you.
No, we'll stick with a computer roll.
Okay.
Bah!
Okay. You're frantically pressing on these buttons, but you're not used to the authority keypads. But because you've got 2 advantages, you kind of slow down the closing mechanism, so he will be able to open it, but it's like in a little loop.
Mm-hmm.
So although you haven't properly locked him in and can't now, it's like the system's doing a little diagnostic. So
I've just pressed everything 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. So 30 seconds he's going to be in there. Yeah. So Nyruk, we need an initiative roll between you and the trooper. Right?
How'd you
And
do
that will
initiative
be
again?
cool for you and vigilance
God.
for him because he was not expecting it.
Characteristics.
And it's no difficulty. So you remove the difficulty dice, you just roll your dice. I got one
Oh, dear.
success.
Oh dear.
It failed. Oh, he got the drop on you. Okay.
This might hurt.
He's not got it. It's just on his own. He's only a minion. Don't worry about it. Sorry, just got to adjust the stats briefly because it's not all of them shooting at you. And that's difficulty 2. Here we go. 2 successes. So he has got a blaster rifle. So you take 10 points of damage.
Oof.
Right, you take your
I've
soak
got a
off that.
soak of 5.
Okay, so you take 5 points of damage on your
Cool.
strain.
On my strain.
No, on
Cool.
wounds. Is it wounds? It's
On
wounds. Yeah, it's wounds. Strain is stun stuff, or you can take a point of strain to get another maneuver. Sorry. Okay, but the blaster did just ring out. Yeah, but we're not going to make any perception rolls just yet because you're going to get your go back.
I will smack him in the face again.
Okay.
Just gonna roll that.
Kind of imagine that scene in one of the Avengers films where Iron Man's like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
No, you just uppercut him and his head comes off.
Oh shit!
Like that. And it hits the ceiling and lands in Kayvan's chair. And then the body slumps to the floor.
By head, do you mean his helmet or his actual head?
His head comes off in the helmet. It's a Wookiee. It's a Wookiee with blast knuckles. Come on.
I know.
It's a triumph. He took his head off. And the head flies across. It doesn't land in Kayvan's chair. It just flies across the room and spins across the floor, and he slumps. His body hits the floor. There's no blood though. It's Star Wars, remember? So he just hits the deck.
Am I the only one that feels bad for this stormtrooper who is genuinely coming to help you fix your signal?
No, he's a stormtrooper.
Millie, LE405 heard all of that, and you hear, "What was that?" from inside the shuttle, so you can tell that he heard all of that.
I did warn you about how irate my Wookiee companion would be.
As that happens, you see coming towards the starport a taxi, and there's a few people in the taxi.
Okay, but I don't know who it is.
But Taslin, you're in the taxi, and it's like no one's on the streets, right? They're all at home watching it, in the bar watching it, at the stadium watching it. So this taxi driver's like, he's doing his best to slow down, so you have to spend more money, but he's got no excuse. There's no traffic, there's no one in the way, there's no roadworks or anything going on. You just get all the way back to the starport pretty quick. And
I mean, I would have offered to pay him extra to make sure we got there quick anyway.
Sure. But he's a taxi driver. He can't help it. So you arrive back at the starport, and there's a few people around the edges near the starport, but not, a couple of workers and stuff. There is a screen set up, and you see a collapse of rocks come down, and like one of them bounce off the side of K-Van's pod racer. But then the flurry of rocks that comes after it shatters across two other pod racers like this, and like another one. Oh, let's have the replay of the death of Chad Forter. And you see it like they like it's a bit intense. They go a bit too detailed with the and then they show a shot of Trandoshan like kicking his pod racer as he's kind of standing in the middle of a ravine, like this. And then it kind of cuts to an overview, and you kind of see a graphic with like little streaming lines with little different coloured blobs at the end with names against it. And it says SP33D is still in the lead, having managed to overtake Ruto Zapal on that last bend as they come into the industrial zone. The two of them are neck and neck. And then you can see there's a few just behind, like just keeping up. But that ravine is kind of, all of these pod racers now look damaged in some way. The sparks coming off of them, some of them have got dents in. It's a brutal race. So you kind of see that going on, and you arrive back, and you can see that LE405 is standing next to the Imperial shuttle, and there's a trooper in the cockpit now, like pressing buttons and doing stuff. And there seems to be something bolted on the side of the shuttle, but you can see that from where you are. It's just like fairly far away, and you drive up and get out, and the governor's like, what? There's authority people here. And
Don't worry
the taxi
about that.
driver's like,
Yeah. And Talon sort of ushers LE405 over.
I just want to keep pressing all the buttons because I think that
LE405 is pressing the buttons on the side of the Imperial shuttle.
like if I stop pressing the buttons, he might escape.
He's in the cockpit.
You ain't going anywhere.
Started up the engine. Yeah.
I will leave.
He may crash into the side. You've taken out the Didn't you take out the stable? Was it the stabilizer? I think it was the
Something,
stabilizer.
yeah.
So it was going to
that.
make it much more difficult for them to fly the shuttle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the ramp at the back still making its way down, or is it?
No, the ramp is going like this. It's a side ramp on the shuttle, and it's going like that and LE405 is like pressing the buttons. But then it starts to go up. The ramp stops moving, but it's in the up position. I'm gonna have to make a piloting roll for this guy, aren't I? This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think Taslin's probably moving the governor very quickly away from the site. She assumes that LE405 is either going to get crushed or escape, but the job is the governor.
Sure. Okay, so you're going to move the governor towards your ship?
Yes.
Okay, right, so you start heading in that direction. Oh! Ow, fail and 5 threats. So the shuttle takes off, and instantly it starts. You know when you see those helicopter scenes in movies and the helicopter goes completely crazy, it's caught in the wires or something. He's going up, and it instantly sort of veers to the side, smashes into the wall, scrapes all the way around the kind of interior of that docking area, and you can see this trooper inside the cockpit like fall over, like disappear out of view, and the ship kind of scrapes all the way around the interior and then smacks back down inside the entrance to that little docking area on its side. Not completely destroyed, it doesn't blow up or anything, but it's like gouged out the side of it and it's now on its side. Nyrek, you hear that. Everyone hears that. Everyone in the starport hears that, and people come rushing out of, like, oh man, the game is on, the run is on. I can't, you know, like looking out of a window and still got a screen in view. Like, what's going on out there? What's going on? LE405, you've got out of the bay just in time.
Oh, good.
And a couple of droids are like heading over. Repair droids, you know. And the guy, you can't see him in the thing anymore. The governor's like, what is going on?
Nothing to worry about, Governor. Make your way on board our ship. There's some comfy spaces inside.
Okay.
Not knowing full well there's
No, you're kind of in the ship and you turn around and this Gran in very fancy cape with a baseball cap on walks up the ramp, and he's kind of greeted by a headless trooper body, and he's like, and he nearly trips over it. It's like, what's going on?
Look. I kind of go.
As Tasley walks up as well and goes, I told you to get the ship ready, not kill stormtroopers.
What's going on?
Okay. Yes, I understand, Nyruk. I understand, but you can't just go around knocking off their heads. Right, put it in one of the smuggling compartments for now, because we don't want to leave it on the street.
Okay, so you guys start to pull.
Grabs the body with one arm and then grabs the head with another hand.
You start to pull the body. Start to pull the body, and as you do, the camera kind of pans up slightly, and you guys are moving the body out of the way, and it zooms in on the hollow screen you've got in the cockpit, and it's like, we're now into the final stretch of the Phoebus Memorial Run, and there are two going neck and neck, SB33D and Ruto Zupal at the front of the pack, close behind, followed by Astin Arcot and Grenko. Chasing not far behind is Ral Rua, who seems to have taken out some sort of polearm weapon and is flailing it around in the air. That'll be some fun towards the end of this session. Let's go to the action, down to the front two, and then this kind of zooms in, and you see K-Van, and the ship's like crackling and like bashing apart and all this kind of stuff. Now, Roger, you've got 3 things to do in this one, haven't you? You've got to fly, you've got to avoid the electrocution pylons, and you've got to image the base. So one of those is going to be harder. One of those is going to be normal difficulty, one is going to be +1, and one is going to be +2. Okay. However, the ravine was the hardest place to fly through, and that was difficulty 3. The industrial sector is difficulty 2. However, these electrocution pylons look particularly nasty and might do a bit more damage to you if they hit you. Oh, it's a reroll. Look at that. A couple of rerolls for K-Van. There you go. Oh, nice. So you're flying through, and there's all these big stacks, you know, huge metallic pylons, energy crackling between them. And they're sort of, at first, they're kind of off to the sides. And you're like, yeah, okay, this is cool. What are we worried about? As you get further in, you can see some madman has built this industrial area, and there's kind of like crackling bits you've got to fly through, and occasionally they're like getting closer together and moving apart, you know, and one bit's like there's a big structure with a hole through the middle you've got to fly through, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like it's dark, there's kind of orangey lighting everywhere from this kind of industrial zone, maybe some areas sort of a sickly yellowy green, a bit like our overlay, and you're shooting through. So what do you want to focus on? Flying, electrocution, or imaging the Ariado Authority base?
Oh, flying. Sorry,
Flying.
didn't realise I was on mute.
Okay. What's second?
It's got to be the electrocution. I'm trying to survive here.
Okay. And then your last is going to be imaging the base. Right. So your flying is going to be difficulty 2. Avoiding electrocution is difficulty 3. And imaging the Ariadu base, which now as you're going down the track, you can see it's like this huge structure being built. And there are actually, seems to be some grav vehicles near it. Construction vehicles over in that direction. That's going to be difficulty 4, right? Cool. So here we go. Let's have your piloting roll, which has got 2 boost die. Now this will give you strain. How much strain have you got on your ship?
2.
So if you take another point of strain, we're going to have to roll a critical on your ship. Yeah. Now, if you're reduced to 0 strain, your ship's speed reduces to 0. Yeah, you're still going to be able to image the base, whatever happens, but you may not cross the line. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to use a. Oops.
Oh.
Sorry, wrong way around. That one.
Okay.
2 successes.
Excellent. Excellent. So, would you like to nudge SP33D with your...
Yes.
Give them a strain. Okay. Right.
Ideally into one of those weird pylon things.
Well, they kind of have to maneuver. You didn't get any advantage, unfortunately. That would give you a setback for their next thing. Okay. Right, where's SP33D's character sheet? Okay, let's close Krusk. He's gone. Let's get this
It's
up
like
here.
SPP3DD suffering because now he's lost his advanced telemetry.
Well, you know what? It has caused a problem with his piloting skills. So he's not quite as good as he was. The piloting, he's going to focus on electrocution because he's damaged, right? Yeah, he's damaged, and he's a droid, so he doesn't like the idea of getting electrocuted. So his piloting roll's got a +1 difficulty. Yeah. So here we go. Check failed. So takes a point of strain. Down to 2. Oh, it's close. So it takes a point of strain, but has 2 advantage. So you're going to get a setback die, Roger.
I forgot I should also have had another boost die. Because I had advantage left over from last time.
That's a shame. You get a setback die on your next roll. As they maneuver around and they're kind of getting in your way and distracting you, and like not hurting you, but distracting you for the next obstacle, right? And the next thing is the 2 of you fly through a highly pronged up area with crackling energy in between. It seems to be going off as you get to it, but you're not quite sure. Have you timed it right? Let's have a coordination roll. Okay. I'm going to use a dark side point on you, Roger.
I'm going to flip it the other way.
Okay. Flip yo.
Oh, I'm
You
gonna
didn't-
re-roll because otherwise I think I'm gonna. How much damage would I take?
1.
Oh, it'd be
We'd be in
would it be
critical terror.
criticals on hold trauma, or is it strain?
No, you check failed. If you had a what's it called? Not a triumph. Despair.
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 You'd take 2. So it's
But if I take 1, is it a crit or
How many have you taken?
2?
I think it's only strain that you get criticals, Hull basically, if it just wears down, then you're dead. You explode.
You also didn't roll your setback die.
Oh.
I can't roll one separately. I don't think.
If you press the little, see next to where it says
Just the
public
little
roll.
dice. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Oh yeah, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, we tried that last time.
Yeah, it doesn't actually work.
You could just do the roll, but remove all
dice.
dice.
Remove
but
all
a
the
setback-
dice apart from a setback die on your skill. Do that. Good shout, Dan. Like it. Oh. Oh. Okay, so you just failed, right? Which means you take a point of hull. So what's your hull on now?
It would now be 1.
Okay, right. So you don't explode, which is good.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And they are going to make their coordination roll.
Roger, don't forget you've got one advantage for a boost die for your next one.
That's true. Boost die on the scanning roll. That might come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
That, and that. He focused on the electrocution, right?
Sorry, I was just seeing if I'd have got anything else. Yes, he did.
So it's 2 difficulty on this one for him. Yeah, it should have been 3 difficulty for you on that one, but we'll let that slide because you failed anyway.
I did roll 3. 1 purple.
Oh, sorry, the red
2 purple,
one. Yeah,
red.
sorry.
Mhm.
My bad. Here we go. Check success.
Oh.
5 successes. So no damage for SP33D successfully. Now we're down to the final roll. Well, your last task. We're going to have a pilot roll off in a minute to see who crosses the line first. Yeah, to see if you win 1 million credits. But first, what you came here to do, scan the Eriadu Authority building.
Is that coordination for trying to time it right?
Yes. Because basically the packet will do it, yeah? You don't even know what it's doing. It's not like you're just like got a button that will run it at the right time. It's just a powerful scan.
Okay, and that's difficulty 4.
Yes.
Use the light side.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Yep. Might want to use those 2 light side points you got there.
All right. I'll use one.
Oh, is it only one you can use at a time?
You can only use one.
You
at a
can
time.
only one on a thing, yeah.
Okay. Oh. What's going to happen? Hey!
Hooray!
Success! With 4 advantages. So do you want to give yourself boost rolls? Boost
gonna
die
give-
on...
You've missed
gonna
2
give
difficulty die. Sorry to be
Sorry, you're quite right. You're quite right. Let me
Oh.
add that.
Oh.
Oh, now we have to do dice math.
Oh, so I still get an advantage and
Oh,
a
3.
success.
Oh, okay.
Yes, free threat. He's
3
fine.
threat. So 1
Yep.
advantage and 1 success.
So I'll give myself a boost die.
Jammy git. So you press the button at the right time and like do 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 do, and you see a little thing like the Death Star plans kind of thing, do 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 do, forming on your thing, and then it's gone, and the packet's done its job, and you're now shooting along, heading out of the industrial zone. You can see the stadium ahead of you, and you and SP33D are like neck and neck, pulling forward. You're not even looking behind you, but the commentator and the spectators can see that there's only a few other pods even left in the race. Yeah, and the 2 of you are shooting along. And what we're going to have is a piloting roll off, right? And let's do planetary roll.
So it's difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2, and I'm going to use 1 dark side point against you.
Okay, and I'm going to flip it straight back the other way.
Okay. So I get a... Oh, no, you get a boost, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, so you roll.
Roger, you would
What do
have
you-
3 boost die right now because you'd have 1 for your advantage and 2 for your handling as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Right, shall I roll and then you roll after? Or do you want to roll first and then I roll after? I'll roll. Shall I roll?
You roll.
Oh, I forgot that in my bloody piloting earlier as well.
1 success.
2 advantage.
Oh, okay. So as you're going through,
Yes.
it looks like SP33D is ahead, and then Kavan has got a switch round between some towers and some stacks. There's some more crackles, and there's a massive ripple of energy.
Can I ram him into something as I go off?
Sure. Why not? As
As explosions.
all the screens are kind of like white out from this big crackle of energy from one of these pylons, and then it's suddenly, boom, you all see Kavan or Ruto Zapal in the speeder, this battered, smoking speeder come through across the finish line, and SP33D's speeder goes sliding into a big rocky stack to one side, and you kind of slide into the stadium, and there's a cheer, rah, Ruto Zapal, and like big word, the name comes up in big name scrolling around the stadium. All the screens across the city blast and blare, and there's trumpets and confetti and fireworks go off, and there's explosions of pyrotechnics. And Kavan, you just won the Phoebus Memorial Run, and we will end our episode there. Congratulations, you just won 1 million credits.
And I'm hoping a trophy.
And all of us are in the ship going, well, we're never going to hear the end of this. However, we're all looking forward to our share of 1 million credits.
Yeah.
The thing I foresee being a
Team
problem
effort.
here is it's for Ruto Zapal. It's like,
We'll see. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Very
Hopefully our viewers enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to go check out all the social media. Links below. If you're on Twitch, give us a follow. Come over and check us out on YouTube. Subscribe there. If you're on YouTube, come over and follow us on Twitch. Don't forget to join the Discord and come chat to us about all our games, food, recipes. Join the gift war. It never ends. Check out the Patreon. There's loads of free stuff on there, even if you don't sign up. But if you do, you can get loads of extras and even play games with us on the weekend. This Saturday, I'm playing Pathfinder 2 with some of our patrons in the World Mountain setting. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. What else have we got going on, Melly?
tonight there is a musical episode of Achtung Cthulhu. Yes, indeed, that is correct.
Musical episode.
A musical episode of Achtung
Wow.
Cthulhu.
Wow.
We're on Thursday, so we're all going to have
That's
a
it.
rest after Achtung
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Yeah.
But if you check out at the YouTubes at the weekend, there will be some Coriolis on there. There will be some West Marches on there. There will be some Achtung Cthulhu on there, and everything we've done previously.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, guys. And we will see you very soon in a week for episode 5 of Fractured Empire.
Yes, please.
Bye-bye.